things outside of, what's the word, empirical logic.
Uh-huh. I got to ask you a question, Tom. What is the scariest, most unique thing you've ever run across, paranormal-wise, that you saw and it happened to you?
One time, I didn't, well, in my younger days, I experimented with some interesting drugs, and I took some DMT, and one of the things that happened was I saw this, it was about 6 feet long. It was a platinum demon, and it was staring right at me, and it was communicating on a silent level. But it got my undivided attention.
Yeah, it would.
So, needless to say, I never took any more DMT.
I don't blame you. So has the paranormal changed your life? I know that your music, you directly, it seems like it's a big part of your life.
Well, it is. It's something that, like I said, I had the privilege of working with Dr. Barber all those different years, and she was, highly cerebral, very intelligent, but she had an understanding of things that at that time, I met her, this was back in the 60s, and became one of her students in the early 70s, actually in the late 60s. But she and I would have the most fascinating conversations about things that went bump in the night. She told me about some of the experience research that she had done. So I think that really broadened my horizons as to what was out there. And, we would have conversations about everything from earth religions, Wicca, UFOs, Watchers, which is another one of the songs that we did. And she went to great lengths to explain to me and basically get me to read an awful lot of material about those things that she had talked to me about. Watchers is a pretty good example of, that group of beings that basically, when free will was granted, came to this part of the cosmos and settled down here. There were good ones and not so good ones. Metatron, who was basically in charge of this part of the solar system, hence the name Metatron Power and Light, and Gabriel and Michael and Raphael were all watchers, but they were watchers of the positive ilk, so to speak. And then you had those that were not. And so that's, just an example of some of the things that we do.
Interesting. Can you explain what the Watchers are? Because I'm sure there's people out there that don't even understand what you're saying about Watchers. They don't know what they are.
Okay, in the Book of Enoch, there's a specific. Well, there's a lot of different things that are written about the Watchers. The Watchers were a group of, call them celestial entities that came here. Some came with very high vibrations, and they came for the betterment of mankind. And then you had another group, and that particular group basically came to control mankind, but they basically would allure them first with, different things. And you might say take them down the garden path spiritually to a negative place. You find that in politicians that get up on the stand, and some of them are not necessarily of a positive spiritual ilk. And that's one of the reasons that I wrote as I wrote it as a satire, a political satire, Harpies.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't, the politic thing, I have to jump in here. I don't understand what is going on with the public in this country. I mean, I'm not going to bash any politician, but it seems like all you have to do is make a lot of promises, that what the citizens want to hear, and you can get elected. And then when you're in there, you just do it your own way. And it seems like nobody's looking after us, as a citizen. I mean, we gutted the EPA. We've gutted everything you could think of that helped benefit mankind. We've cut welfare. There's some people I can see shouldn't be on welfare, or they should be able to work to receive a grant. But a lot of things that's going on right now in this country. It's really scary. We have aliens coming from other countries trying to get in, and no, they get locked up for they're treated like criminals. I mean, and nobody in this country, unless you're a Native American, we all came from some other country. It's scary what's going on.
Well, that's one of the reasons. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the reasons that I wrote Harpies. Harpies was directed at both sides of the aisle and globally to the very flower of humanity that we call politicians. Those people to which you're referring to that get up on the stand and make promises ad infinitum and tell the people how much they love them and how much they feel their pain. And it's really a lot of BS. And what they're really doing is they're getting in not because they're statesmen, because we really don't have any statesmen anymore, in my opinion. You have people that are very self-serving. They basically get a group of people behind them. Hitler once said, "You tell a big enough lie long enough, and pretty soon everybody believes it." And,
or they're scared Tom, or they're scared to say anything because if they do, something happens to them.
Well, Harpies was about that politician that just from the time that he was a child, he wanted to be in charge, and he basically makes a deal with the devil to get what he wants, and he ends up getting that, but the guy's so arrogant that he forgets about the fact that he did sign a contract, and it comes back to bite him in a major way. So, hence Harpies.
Yeah.
Harpies, if you look at ancient Greek literature, Harpies are those birds from hell that basically the gods send as part of divine retribution to go after people that have upset them.
I don't know. It scares me the way things are going. We have earth changes, Tom, that are going on that everybody's in denial, at least in Washington D.C., and it's going to affect all of us in the next few years. Maybe my kids are at the age they'll see it, okay, because they're in their late 20s and all the way up to their 40s. They're going to see earth changes happening. I won't be around to see any of the major stuff. You won't be. But our grandkids and stuff like that, what are they going to face? And we could be slowing it down, if anything, until we try to figure out what we can do. But no, you got the EPA, all these standards to cut pollution. Hey, you throw them out the window because we can create more jobs. But are we actually creating more jobs in the long run? No, we're not. And this has got me very concerned, Tom. It really does. I sit here and look at what are my grandkids going to live through. They're going to live through living hell. Seriously.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right on every one of those points, and I think that's the reason that the people in my band are all politically independent. They see through the far right, the far left, the schemes that they're putting out there. And that's part of what we sing about, too. The thing that you have to look at as far as earth changes, I have the lady that did our artwork, a wonderful human being. Her name was Ann Gordon, and she did all the imagery for all of our songs. But she did a study, and she went from here to North America, and she did a study on the tree growth. And what a lot of people don't realize is that there are massive portions of evergreens that are dying. And, they're not talking about it, but they are dying. She showed me the picture. She did a 5-year study on this, and nobody seemed to be interested in what she was doing. but she sent me 5 years worth of studies of these evergreens that are dying in mass in North America. And, it's very frightening. And, one thing that Corey and I, one day, we were having lunch over in Monroe. The whole western horizon was full of these checkerboard, looked like tic-tac-toe designs. They're chemtrails.
Oh, yeah.
And, that's something, I wrote a song about it, but I can't repeat the title of, but it had to do with our DNA. And the thing of it is that, they're messing with the water, they're messing with the food, they're messing with the atmosphere. They're killing the oceans. All those things are going on, and that's another aspect of our music. Is one of my heroines, who is Lynn Bolton Howe, talks about the various intelligences that are part of what is going on and how they have directed certain people to do certain things to get a desired result. One of the things that we're trying to do is make people aware of the fact that, hey, it's not an empirical existence. There are a lot of things going on there that just because you can't see them, that you're not being affected by them. You're having literally frequencies that you're being bombarded by every day, radio, television, satellites, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just because you don't see them doesn't mean they don't exist, and doesn't mean they're not affecting you. And I think that people's modes of thought are being tampered with. Those are the things that we're aware of, and we're going to continue down the path of trying to enlighten people as much as we possibly can.
Well, yeah, I think they're slowly going to try to control people. In China, you can't go anywhere, and they got facial recognition. So if you're walking down the street, they can zoom on your face. They know who you are instantly. And it's just a matter of time that's going to happen here. We're going to lose a lot of our rights. It's so many things that's going on. Like they say, well, chemtrails, they're not doing it. Well, I've seen it myself. I've seen a plane laying, okay? No, it's no way. An airliner doesn't do that. A military craft doesn't do it. They're dumping something in the atmosphere, and then you have a group of scientists say, "Oh, what they're trying to do is keep the warming effect by trying to lower the temperature." Then it's this, then it's that. I don't know what's going on, but I tell you, it is scary, and we can sit there and people are in denial. They just don't realize there's a lot of strange things that's going on, and it isn't beneficial for me or you, Tom.
Well, Gary, the other thing is this. When you look at the reason that they're giving for the array that they put up in Alaska called HAARP, there are 4 of those that I am aware of globally that are affecting electromagnetic frequencies around this globe. And I think that from what I've read, HAARP, chemtrails, changing people's frequencies, those things are all tied in together. And I think that as a species, we need to become aware of those things, and we need to, become for our own existence. You were talking about your grandchildren. What kind of world are they going to inherit if we right now in the here and now don't become aware of those things and attempt to do something about it?
That's just the point. The people aren't doing anything about it. I mean, what do we have to do? Wait to the last moment, and then it's too late. That's what really scares me. And, you talk about HAARP. What they do is heat up the ionic sphere with, a lot of wattage and just I try to control weather. I think they're also trying to control more things because, since HAARP has been around, our storms have majorly increased. The storm they just had in the Bahamas and coming into Florida. Again, the storms are getting bigger and bigger, and people are in denial.
Oh, you're absolutely correct. And look at over the past 15 years, which happened to the size of not only hurricanes, but tornadoes. You're seeing all these Class 5 tornadoes, Class 5 hurricanes. They didn't used to be that big. They didn't used to be that powerful. They didn't used to wreak anywhere near that much destruction. And angels do not play that harp. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, that's what's really scary. Hey, we need to go on break. I'm going to put you on hold. We'll be back in about 3.5 minutes. Tom, don't hang up.
All right.
Okay.